Okay, well, welcome everybody in the workshop session of our meeting. I think we already had the notice and we have a roll call. Actually, we should probably do a roll call again.
Correct. Yep.
We do have our meeting. So if we could do a roll call, Tina, that would be great.
Yes, we can. Okay, Miss Beal,
Here.
Miss Gilman,
Here.
Miss Hayes,
Present.
Mr. McCarthy,
Here.
Miss McGovern,
Here.
Miss Palamas,
Here.
Miss Tallarico,
Here.
Miss Tortorello,
Here.
Mr. Weinstein.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Okay, so on the president's report, I will wait till we're in the regular meeting to go over that. On the superintendent's report, would you like to?
Yeah, the only thing I just want to mention here is that downstairs in my report, I think the new preschool plan for next year is on the agenda, and we have it. We didn't have it last week because we were still waiting for information from Marcelo, so we do need to approve it this evening. But I asked Kristen Hansen to just give sort of a quick sort of synopsis of what's being added, what's changing for next year, or a few changes with that we're doing. And also some people are needing to do it. So she included just some general information about the preschool program. So that'll be downstairs.
Great.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to go over it since it was such a late ad. Are they going over seats as well? Like numbers?
Well, the plan was
Yeah.
on. The plan was on. It has been on. That's been on.
The presentation was on?
The presentation not, but the presentation just kind of summarizes.
That's not,
the
okay,
plan.
okay. Presentations did not look.
Yeah, I mean, when you need seats, what do you want?
Numbers of kids or,
Alex, she has all of that. Yeah,
Perfect.
she's
Thank you.
got all. Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, I think, Irene, we can do presentation in minutes.
Could I just, I'm sorry, can I just
Oh, I'm
say
sorry,
something?
Tina, I'm
So,
sorry.
no. So Jeff, I apologize. I just want to let everybody know tomorrow I have a meeting with the union. You know, that the healthcare costs
I'm
are
not
up.
sure. This ain't.
I don't know if this is open.
Oh, this is open session topic.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if this is an open session topic. 'Cause
Oh.
It's a negotiation, it's like a negotiation.
Yeah,
Well, it's not. There's the, okay, that's fine.
It's probably best.
It's not a negotiation though,
We should
but that's
probably-
okay.
Let's hold off. We can talk about it next time.
Yep.
All right,
Okay.
Jeff, so the
Did you
minutes,
have- before I go, I'm sorry,
Oh.
Tina, did you have anything that you wanted to do? Did you
No,
want-
that's what I wanted to discuss.
Okay.
That's fine.
Sorry for missing that. Irene, could you do the presentation?
so in accordance with Board of Education bylaw 168, recording of board meeting of the following meeting, our work meeting and exec session minutes from November 1st, 2022. Any comments, questions? May I get a second? We have a general consensus.
We're not voting.
We're not voting. Oh, that's right. We're in work.
We'll vote at the regular. Yep.
Okay. Financial management analysis.
I have items for discussion, so do you want to do those now when we vote downstairs, or I can defer downstairs?
We have this.
We should probably discuss. We should probably
If
discuss.
there's any discussion.
All right, do I need to,
That way we
I don't need to
have
read them right now, but 7.2 is on here, the superintendent search service provider. If there's any questions about that.
And the contract's here for all of you to sign.
Is there any insight you want to say on any topic? Tina? Yes.
No, no, I'm fine as long as everybody, unless there's a question.
Anybody have any questions on any of it?
On the solar, solar is what we were expecting and
Well, Alex, like we generate about $150,000 a year in solar revenue. And we needed to re-up the contract. They're not as, it's not as great as it was in the past. but it's consistent with what the market is paying.
Okay.
Any other questions on the subject?
Wait, yeah, I'm sorry. So this means, so every year we have to go to bid on who wants to buy our SREX, right?
Correct,
Okay, so it's a little bit less, but that's comparable.
correct,
to
because the
whatever.
market's less, correct.
And the two are just because the two different schools?
Yeah, correct. No, one is for their fiscal year and our fiscal year, right? So I had to do it across our fiscal years because we end on June 30th.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anything? Irene, instruction, education, student activities.
Yes, there are 9 items for discussion that we can certainly vote on in our regular session, and I'll give an update on instructional, and Mrs. McGovern will give the update on the wellness.
We can do that. No, we do that next.
If you want to do it now.
Do we want to do it now, or is that something that's best to do in front of us?
25 minutes. What else are we here to do?
Okay, all right.
I can't hear you. Was that yes?
Yes, do it now.
Okay. So 8.8, our instructional council update. Our new chairperson is Mr. Loida, and he will be taking over. There were no items from the high school.
Irene, could you spell the last name, please?
Leute, Loida.
Thank you, thank you.
Sure, yeah, he's over at the high school. So the high school TOIS Wayside had nothing to report. Dow Avenue had several items, including their instructional assistants who they believe should have their job description clarified for them a little further, especially in the MD class. And the response from administration was that at each interview, the instructional assistants are given a general overview of what they will be responsible for. Dow also would like extra PD training for the instructional assistants in the MD area. And administration said that they had training and there will be additional training in February. Dow Avenue needs some help from the BCBA, who goes to the different schools to help the instructional assistants. Dow Avenue also asked for more collaboration between the teachers and their instructional assistants. They need more time off together to collaborate with their instructional assistants, and they're going to be working on that. Wanamassa, the staff was concerned about the Genesis training. They really felt like they could have used more Genesis training. They asked if the Genesis company would perhaps send in some representatives, but Ms. Weldon said that they don't usually do that, that they have trained people from our district who then go on to train staff, and that any staff member who's having problems with Genesis should let their principal know, and the principal will then address any issues. They need to know about the problems, and then they can address whatever problems the staff is having. There is some concern at Wanamassa about number grades for the youngest learners instead of an O, G, and an S. That's being discussed. And the Linkit data, staff doesn't have enough time to plan and communicate with parents. Ms. Weldon said anyone having a problem with parent phone calls should definitely let her know. And I think that's about it. And we set up additional meetings for the rest of the year for March and May.
Okay, Alex?
I was just wondering, I ask this every year, how many people are on the instructional council and then how many members are, minority members?
I don't know how many minority members there
Typically
are,
2 per building.
but the list. now-
Dr. Frank is answering. it,
I'm
so-
sorry, who do you? who do
Yeah,
you
I was,
like that?
I was really asking
Is
you.
it to me?
Sorry, Irene, I
I'm
figured
sorry.
it wasn't really a question for you.
I'm sorry. It's usually two members per school, from the association's standpoint, and those are selected, those members are selected by the association. And then it's, you know, administration myself as well, and I think there's a supervisor too in there. Trying to remember, and then we are actually a Google Meet, so I don't know that I saw half the people who are on there. I'd have to go back to the minutes to see who was there, as far as the makeup of the group.
And I probably say this every year, the concern of our commitment to diversity. And I believe every year you say, yep, we're gonna work on making the instructional council even more representative.
Now,
And
once
aside-
again, we don't have say. I don't have say. It's the staff representative.
Sure.
Ms. Hayes,
You have a
when
say.
it goes to each school, volunteers are asked to be on instructional council. And it's very difficult to get staff members to volunteer to attend all the instructional council meetings. Now, my question is the minutes that went out from Mr. Loiter, do they go out to everyone in the district, Dr. Stefankowitz?
I believe they emailed them to the whole district.
Well, is there a way to possibly have him email a copy to you that you might share with the board?
Sure.
We used to get them, right?
Sure.
Okay.
No, we've seen them. We've seen them.
I think, Ms. Gilman said, Cal Avenue had some concern, the instructional assistants are asking for more training, specifically in the MD classroom. Are we going to address that? Because
Yeah, we have, I mean, I think the issue is that obviously the role of an instructional assistant, say, in an ICR classroom is very different than what an instructional assistant in an, in an classroom. So I think, one, there was a desire to ensure that when people are interviewing for the MD role, that they understand exactly what's going to be part of the job. And it was explained that is discussed during the interview process, that, if someone is slated to go into the MD program, that absolutely the types of things that are going to have to be done, which could include things like changing bids and things like that, is absolutely explained. We may have a situation sometimes where someone may not start out in the MD program though, didn't interview for that, but might have to get transferred into it. So that's a little bit different, but obviously it's explained prior to going in, but it wasn't part of the interview process. And so there has been some training for those folks, and there'll be more as we get time to do it. Unfortunately, time is one of our biggest problems in providing,
do we give them training though on behavior supports and things like that when they walk in the door?
as much as we can, I mean, there's only one day before school starts that there's training for instructional assistants. So we do the best we can, even if that's ongoing throughout the course of the school year. But it's time. There's no doubt it's an issue. Time is a factor at the time. That professional, and that's factual with the instructional assistant.
Sure.
There's some days that are available.
John,
To Natalie's point, that 1-day training, is that also district-wide training? Like, so I know some districts do cohorts and
Most
sections.
we work to tailor it specific to the instructional system. There may be some things that they're all involved in, but then parts of their time are specific to them.
So if it's out of like 8 hours and 1 hour is with, I'll make it up, Kelly Weldon, 1 hour is with X, Y, and Z training that you have to have.
We would even break up the instructional assistants.
So they could possibly not go to something,
Yeah.
like if it's Genesis.
Speaker, yeah.
Or, you
Yeah.
know, a speaker on, not saying it's not important, fire safety, or
Right.
they could
Yeah.
get more time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We work hard to tailor, our PD days to people. We know that people being in things that don't
Right,
quote unquote mean anything to them. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean,
it's not pertinent as
my
well.
wife is an art teacher, says all the time, when she's in trainings that have nothing to do with art or whatever, she's not happy about that. And so we try to tailor all of our PD days to make sure that it's as meaningful as possible, and not just meaningful, but that it's tomorrow I can use the things that I'm learning today. That's the best PD. But we also know the best PD is the job embedded piece, right? So, we have, as Ryan said, our BCBA will go into those classrooms and work with our aides, while things are happening, along with the teachers as well, to help them as well. There's no doubt, though, I'm not going to sit here and say that, there's 100 hours of training before some of these folks walk into the classroom. It's not there. It's not feasible to happen. So we work to do it, at the beginning, and lay a foundation and provide it as the year goes on.
And then the Wanamassa teachers who wanted Genesis training, but Genesis doesn't come in, have they been given dates?
Yeah, they
To
were
have
instructed to go, every building has trainers, our people who have been trained, and they're there to assist, along with the principals as well. So, the instruction or the direction that they received was they should be going to their principal to discuss the specific problems that they're having with Genesis, and we can address those. It's really, I don't want to say that the concern only came, each building kind of presents to, to their representatives in instructional council. This is what it's on. The concern, while that discussion was going on, a few of the other buildings kind of said, well, yeah, we had some kind of things too, but we figured it out. We tried it. So it seemed like Wanamassa was the biggest area, but I think today we had a follow-up meeting with our administrators who talked, Mr. Marlowe had said that he has spoken with his staff and kind of got a sense of where the issues were, and that he was addressing those concerns with the folks who were in the building who can.
So if I'm a teacher at Wanamassa tomorrow during my prep or doing whatever, I can go to room whatever or person whatever and get the help that I need.
They're
That's set up.
designated, I don't know how
That's
they're setting it up, but yes, there's absolutely help available for you if you're at Wanamassa and you need help with Genesis.
So it's on the teacher now to make sure that they get to that person. So it's available.
Well, it's communicating what your need is and with the administration of the building, and then the
They will pair
administration
you up
working
or
to
take care
provide
of it.
If it's a single person problem, then they'll work with that individual. If they find out that 10 people have the same problem, then they'll look to set something up, an after school or before school or a faculty meeting or whatever, so that they can address that concern.
I'm just looking back at the last 3 instructional council sessions from last year, and we were provided with minutes. So I would like to see the minutes.
We can put them on the next.
Okay.
Okay, wellness committee.
Sure. So we started as we normally do with updates from each building. Each building is doing a lot of similar things, but maybe calling them different things. There's a lot of SEL superstars, and at TOIS, they had, their week of respect. They're bringing all schools had a week of respect, but they did a couple of things, calming music, quotes, different things, spirit week throughout the building. We're working on bringing the relax room, which I think we all heard about, or the relax club, up to the middle school, including the relax room. They're having outstanding citizens, which they always do in 5th grade. Then Wayside, some of the things they did was they had, for Veterans Day, they had letters, brought community into the school and allowed students to have some great conversation with some of their veterans. They also have SEL superstars. A lot of things that everybody seemed to touch on is trying to send more positive feedback home to parents, so that parents are hearing some of the great things that their kids are doing. Obviously, they're getting shout outs on the announcements. OTES, they're doing Finish Strong Fridays, where they're having like dance sessions at the end of the day, which I would love to just go be a part of. There's also, they did their SEL trusted adult binder this year, but I think you guys heard when Melissa was here, Ms. LePleznik was here, talking about how they had the students actually say who their trusted adult was this year versus the teachers doing that. So that was one of the TIS. Jen Ruland over at Wanamassa, she and all of them, she mentioned this, and then everybody kind of chimed in that the SAC and having the part-time SAC being able to go through the different elementary buildings, that's, you know, our SAC has been very helpful to have them back again. She's doing a kindness club that second graders came to her and asked if they could start. And they're spread now, the third and fourth graders are like, well, we want to be a part of this too. So she's trying to figure out how to get them to start things. So I joked with her that it sounded like she was having a lot of lunch with students, because it seemed like every time she was talking, things were happening there. Jenna at the high school was talking about the week of respect. She was also talking about doing videos. If you guys don't follow Jenna on Instagram, I suggest you do, just because she does. I know we've always been Twitter based, but she does a great Instagram story to kids all the time, and, you know, little pick me up things that are
Kids
really
on Instagram, kids on it.
right. Exactly. Well, that's a lot of it.
She gets her kids on.
She's been collaborating with teachers and getting approval, as we saw a couple weeks ago, moving the SAD club to the peer leadership group and things like that. So getting that started. They're bringing in my notes here, bringing in Sean Metz, who is a graduate of Ocean, to do some programming. I'm trying to help with the student review committee. Then there's also
Go back to that. What are they bringing in?
he's helping with programming and for the, I have it written down as helping with the student review committee for help. My notes are very messed up. I have to go back to that. Let me come back to that in a second. But one of the other things that they were bringing in that is grant funded, that's going to start, I think it started in November, Lifelines, which was right, Jim, it started this month, I think, end of November. So it's to have a staff admin and care crisis team for community on all levels with suicide prevention. So that was something that was new that was coming. So that was the schools. The SEL coach, Miss Conti, she was talking a lot about her date. A lot of her days are covered with stuff for teachers, like little videos and stuff that she's giving out for SEL, you know, for them to fit in the week of respect and all these different fun days, giving them, just making them all strong, empowered leaders is what she's trying to make SEL be, is strong, empowered leaders. So then she was talking about that, doing R&R at TOIS to work with students, how to make better choices. We talked about that last year, how we were kind of going to that, how Chris was going to that, having Tina come into R&R, yoga at the high school, increasing mindfulness with, this was interesting, I thought, with the AP students, that a lot of times we look at the, you know, the kids that we're noticing need help, but she's also reaching out to some of these AP and higher course students that are maybe hiding it and struggling it and stressing out. So they're trying to make a little program with that. Then Allison Connolly. So one of the big things that she did was move to a Google Classroom, from Google Classroom to a website, which was called Wakelets. Has a bunch of information and resources for the teachers to click on if they have questions about different equity things. She said it would seem to be very well received. There's going to be an FAQ corner. She's going to create an FAQ corner for questions that keep coming in over and over, obviously FAQs, to put on the website as well for people to click on based on teacher requests. The other thing was the guiding team, continuing work with the guiding team with the equity and with the AP courses, and making sure that there's equity and access for AP and honors. We talked about that. That was when I was on instructional council. We were talking about that years ago, about getting more kids into AP, you know, trying to get more kids excited about AP to take AP or take honors classes. Running the CREC, which is the cultural, where did that? Cultural Response Education Committee and also the Central Jersey Committee for Excellence and Equity Groups. So she's running them with some of our students. We had TOIS kids or students go out to attend workshops, helping with equity-based interventions for INRS, which is, link it, and all that. And they've also been trying to do assemblies based on for TOIS based on the bias incidents. They've been working with the Anti-Defamation League and then the New Jersey Department of Civil Rights on some of that stuff. We went over some meeting dates we think will be January, March, and June, but we have to get back with specifics. The one thing that we talked about, we had a Zoom, it was on Zoom, and I talked to Jim about this a couple times, that it ended abruptly because we have to get, it has to go through.
Yeah, I mean,
different things to get-
they unfortunately they used the Zoom that was limited, so we'll fix that moving forward.
So there wasn't much time for a lot of discussion at the
Yeah, it
end,
was
but
I guess what, it was a 40-minute meeting.
Yeah, so everything
we'll
was
fix
kind
that.
we did have our parents that were on last year, were on again this year, so.
I'm sorry, are you saying there's a Zoom limitation?
There is, so. From what I,
No, we don't have that in our district because we pay for it.
well,
Yeah, but I guess not every account is that.
not
So
every person's
we gotta
account
work it out.
was that.
Okay.
It's.
All
for-
right, nobody ever told me that, and I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's already taken
It's
care
been
of.
taken care of.
It's all
Yeah,
good.
I think.
is it? Okay, all right,
Got it.
because I'm telling you, there's no 40-minute limitation to our Zoom per my call.
Amy, so thanks for the, yeah, the other couple.
I do use for personal meeting, and the equity coach was only able to speak for 1:39. So I'm glad that you were able to explain what these acronyms are, but I still don't know what some of the things that she's doing with work sessions. I still have a lot of questions that we weren't able to ask. Like,
How long are the meetings normally?
We'll do that now.
About an hour?
Well, the guiding team's something that's gone on for a while with, but a couple of years, I believe, or not a couple of years, is something that's been in place that she's now a part of. But, right, John, the guiding team wasn't something that she created.
I don't know. I don't know.
We thought that
saying
was something
guiding?
to-
Guiding team? I've never heard of this.
First off, but right, are those notes?
These are the minutes, and I can share them out. But I thought they would, I guess I just expected them to be on, but Jim has not yet.
So the notes are.
I have it right here.
Yeah.
She wrote them. She was the secretary there. Like I thought, it was 1:39.
She
because
talked
it
for more
ended.
than that. Anthony said, leave me at least a minute. She talked for, I would say, at least, not a lot. Don't get me wrong, like
Yeah.
maybe 4 minutes.
But if we had an extra, if you had an extra 20 minutes, you guys could have.
Well, we didn't ask any questions, and I had a lot of questions. So, I was told that I would get my questions answered in this meeting, and there was no time. That's my only point.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't know why. I spoke with.
She's doing a lot of stuff,
To,
and
yeah, the meeting shouldn't have been cut off, so we fix that moving forward.
Yeah, it shouldn't have. It should not have. Exactly.
The next meeting.
No, I can tell you that,
Listen, I'm willing to go and be a secretary at any
Well,
meeting.
Right
If
now,
that's what you guys want,
Well,
I'm willing, I'm willing.
I think right now we're just talking about what occurred in the meeting. and all that
I
stuff.
understand, Jeff.
So.
I have to get back about Sean Mack.
there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're not really understanding what exactly is happening, because we're unable to ask questions.
So, and we'll be able to get the minutes as well for that then next week.
I
Okay.
don't remember.
Another problem is that there's not another one
Then they
until
won't be in
January.
board docs. Like they should be in board docs.
I don't know.
I can.
Do we know what she presented on at the New Jersey Education, was it NJEA convention? She mentioned that, but we weren't able to ask what it was. It's not on the minutes.
I have a question actually related to that.
Can we just, is there something that you want to to just round this up? Do you feel like the notes aren't good enough? Do you want to do something?
I feel like I just don't know what all this stuff is because first of all, they're all acronyms. I didn't even hear the acronyms and what they meant until tonight.
Well, the,
I didn't-
sorry, the Central Jersey's, the equity and,
Federal Jersey Consortium
Thank you.
for Excellence.
we've talked about that at almost
Yeah,
every
we've been a
meeting,
member
because
of
we've
that
had
for
kids
8
going
years.
for years. And we've had kids the last, no, I'm saying.
Is that what you're talking about?
The
CREC,
Yeah,
CJC.
JCE.
Yeah, we've had students going and competing in that for the last, and Jim's brought it up here.
Yeah,
with
we've
the
been,
table.
we've been part of that for about 8 years. now.
Yeah, so that one. You know,
What are ed camps, spark sessions? I don't know what they are.
those are
Answer it for the PD sections.
that they give to, that they put, she has them on the website and she does them for kids and for teachers. It's just, I think, the link, the language
If
of
you have
what it
specific
is.
questions that you want to send to me,
Well, I just sent an email about the acronyms, but no one responded to me. That's why I'm asking them.
what the acronyms are.
Well, just that we had no current task questions and not really. We're really 2 minutes.
Well, if you have questions, you want to send me.
I mean, maybe next time we can start with her, since she never gets really that much time.
Yeah.
And she's doing a lot, so I think that, we should give her credit for what she's doing. But I still don't know what all this is, so.
Okay, can we, just because we're at 7:32 now, can we kind of pick this up? Downstairs with the general business or, and then we have a couple of other things here, so personnel
Yeah, downstairs.
downstairs. Policy is in the downstairs.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Public relations, okay, do downstairs.
Yeah, but are we also gonna do the pre-kindergarten in addition to the preschool? As well?
Right.
I'm in the wrong section.
Okay.
Yes, we can do public relations
Right,
downstairs.
okay. Anybody have any old business? Needs to be talked there, or can we?
I do, I'll do it later.
Anybody for new business? Okay, anybody from the public, like to make a comment at this time?
President
Marianne?
Weinstein, there are no commenters online.
Okay, great, so we'll, adjourn the session and go to the regular not the regular meeting, okay? Thanks, Marianne.
Adios.
Can I get-
Yeah,
Second.
Second.